Okay everybody, today I'm going to be using my hover camera because this is going to be easier for me to show you how we're going to do our work today. We're starting a new skill. Well, I guess it's not too new. We learned it last quarter, but we're going to add on to this skill of decomposing. So decompose. If you remember from last quarter, decompose means break apart. So we have a whole, and if we're going to decompose it, we're going to break it apart and find two parts. So if you're going to work along with me, get your bag of cubes. You'll need both colors. You'll need 7 of one color and 7 of the other color. And on a whiteboard, you can draw a 10 frame. A 10 frame is called a 10 frame because it has 10 windows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 frame because if you look at a window has a frame, so we call these our windows. So let's go over our DLO, talk about decomposing, and then we will use our cubes to show it. Okay, our DLO. Today I will write equations to show parts of 6 and 7. And so then I just wrote decompose. Now it's your turn. Today I will write equations to show parts of 6 and 7. So we're going to decompose. Say decompose. Say break apart. Decompose means break apart. So if you've ever seen a log in the forest and it's falling apart and there's moss on it and bugs on it, it's because the log is breaking apart. It's decomposing. That's just a comparison. All right, so today we're going to focus on decomposing 6 and 7. When we write these equations, they're backwards. When we normally write an equation, we would write, let me do that in a different color. We would write a number like 1 plus 2 equals 2 plus 1 more is 3. So this is how we would normally write an equation, but when we're decomposing, we have the equal sign at the beginning because it's going to show us the two different parts of that number. Now, a number can be broken up many different ways, but for the purposes of what the skill we're focusing on, the decomposing, we are going to do 2 parts. We're not going to, when you get into older grades, you'll break numbers up into multiple parts, lots of parts, but today and tomorrow and this week, we're only going to do 2 parts. So we're going to make 6. Go ahead and get 6 cubes out and put them on the little 10 frame that you drew. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm just using one color right now just to show. If I wanted to break it up, I would have 2 different parts. So when we subtract, we start at the end, and I think I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to just take apart this 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm going to take 1, 2, 3. I'm going to take 3 away and replace them with blue cubes. So I'm going to take these ones away. I still want 6, but I'm going to replace them with blue cubes. 1, 2, 3. So now I still have 6 cubes. I just broke it into 2 parts. 6. Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. How many yellows do I have? 1, 2, 3. I have 3 yellow. And how many blue do I have? 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to write that here, and I'll show you why. I have a group of 3. 1, 2, 3. I have a group of 3 yellow, I have a group of 3 blue. 1, 2, 3. So I wrote my equation, my decomposing equation. 6 equals 3 plus 3. An easy way to show this too is if I were to put these cubes together, because I have 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, equals, since we're going to show parts and decompose, I'm going to break it apart. I broke it there, and so I have 2 parts here, 3 plus 3. If I were to write it the normal way, it would be 3 plus 3 equals 6. But what we're doing today is just showing the parts. So we're breaking it apart. Let's do another one with 6. So I'm going to erase, erase, erase. I still want to make 6. So I'm going to use my yellow again. I'm going to start with 6. This time I'm going to start with a tower. So if it was straight up and down, it'd be a tower. Let me make sure I have 6 because I want to decompose it. I'm going to break it apart. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's break it apart a different way. So last time I broke it in half, maybe I'll break it apart like this. So I have 2 parts now, but I want to make this a different color. So I'm going to just switch this with a blue so it's easier for me to see the difference of the 2 parts. So if I were to just lay them here in my equation, 6 equals, how many yellow do I have? Oops, you can't see that, can you? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 5 yellow, short neck, belly fat, Mr. 5 wears a hat, plus how many blue? 1. So if I have them all together, 6 equals 5 plus 1. So I have 5 here, I've got 1 here. If I put it all together, let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I still have 6 and my 2 parts, a part of 5 and a part of 1. If I were to put it on my 10 frame, the yellows would go first because I've decided yellow is my first color. I ran out of space, go to the next line, just like reading and writing. So this is another way to make 6 with 5 and 1 more. Let's do another. So I'm going to move my blue. I'm going to put my yellows back together. I'll erase this. Let's do 1 more for 6 and then we'll do 7. So if I were to break this, let's do it a different way. Right there, I decomposed it. Decompose means break apart. So if I broke this part, I've got a group here and a group here. I'm going to replace this group with blue because I just want to make it a little bit easier to see. So I have 4 here, so I'm just going to switch it. How many yellow do we have here? 1, 2. Candy cane foot. Plus, how many blue? 1, 2, 3, 4. Down, over, down some more. That's the way you make a 4. So one way I can make 6 is 2 plus 4. 2 plus 4 more. And if I put them together, there's 2 plus 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that was the total that I started with. Now let's break apart 7. Let's do a couple 7 examples. So I'll erase 6, erase 2, erase 4. Let's work on 7. Same thing, I'm going to make 7 with my cubes here. I'm going to rewrite my equation. When you break apart these numbers in your book, you might want to use a pattern, just like we did with the pattern subtraction last time, where it was 1 more number, 1 less, 1 more, 1 less, 1 more, 1 less. So you could use that strategy, or you could just use the different numbers. Use the numbers that you haven't used yet. Okay, so let's make 7. I need 1 more. So let's write an equation to show parts of 7, which is decompose. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm going to decompose it. Decompose means break apart. So I broke it apart. I'm going to put it down. I'm going to replace these yellow ones with a blue one, just as a visual so I could see. And now I'm going to write my 2 parts. I'm making 7. How many are in my first part? 1, 2, 3. Around the tree, that's the way you make a 3. Plus, how many more? 1, 2, 3, 4. So I have 4 blue. Down, over, down some more, that's the way you make a 4. So if I were to put these on a 10 frame, have yellow first because I decided yellow was going to be first. Stay there, cubes. Now I can see them on a 10 frame. So this would be 7 equals 3 plus 4. I have 7, and the two parts are 3 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So when you're presented maybe a blank spot like this, it might just have the cubes on here for you, and you might have to write those equations, maybe for the assessment at the end of the quarter. But it'll say, look at the cubes, now write an equation of the two parts. Or it might have the cubes all together like this, and it'll say, write the two parts, which would be 3 and 4. Let's do one more, and then it'll be your turn. So I'm going to make 7 again. I'm going to show parts. Another word is decompose. Decompose means break apart. Okay, so I've got my two parts here. Still had 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But now I have parts of it. This part and this part. I'm going to replace this part with blue because yellow is my first color I wanted to use. So I've got my two parts. Now I need to count them and write them in the equation. Let's count how many yellow we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Short neck, belly fat, Mr. 5 wears a hat. Plus, how many blue? 1, 2, candy cane foot. So if I were to read this equation, it would be 7 equals 5 plus 2. And if I put it on the 10 frame, I would break it apart. So when you're doing it in your book, I want you to use your cubes so that you can make a tower like I did, break it apart however you want, and then color it in. That's how you're going to do it today, is have the cubes and then you're going to color the sections. What I don't want to see is yellow, blue, or I guess it's blue and red in the book, but blue, red, blue, red. You have to keep the parts together. So don't mix them up all crazy like this. That's not how it is. When we write sentences, we don't just write across and then start in the middle of the next line. That's not how we do it. Everything goes in an order, a certain order. So keep your first color, the first part of it, and then when you decide to switch colors, then you'll switch your colors right where it needs to go. All right, so here is one way to make 7. 7 equals 5 plus 2. So we have 5 yellow, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, plus 2 more, 1, 2, which is our 7. So now it will be your turn to do it in your book. It has one problem for you already done. So it has 7 equals 6 plus 1. So it broke it up. I think it wants you to use, it would be easier if you use the pattern. So take this one away and make that red. So then when you come on this side, you could do red, red, blue. And then take another red, add another red in here. Red, 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 blue, 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 blue. And then the last one, red, 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 red. Yep, blue, blue, blue. Or you could take your cubes, break them apart however you want to, and write the equations that you want to make. And then on the next page, you'll be making 6. So we did a couple examples for 6. And then the 7, the challenge question, I want you to make 6, but in a different way. So you can draw your cubes in a chain. You could draw just little circles or cookies, however you want, but make 6 one more time and make your equation match it. So that's the challenge question, is to make up your own picture to decompose 6. So now it's your turn.